Okay, we're in.
All right, we're recording. Welcome everyone to this Thursday morning, afternoon, or Friday morning for one person specifically on this call in India. Absolutely amazing that you're here. Welcome to the Flawless and Bound digital workshop. This one focused on the topic of 10 budgeting recommendations for your next ERP project. So my name is Max. I'll do some introductions here right away with my other panelists, but let's move on to the next slide here. So firstly, Flawless and Bound, what are we all about here? So we have a lot of things that we're known about, but the topic of this webinar and most of the work that we do is digital transformation for B2B organizations. So as you may or may not know, what is digital transformation? Because it can mean a lot of things for different organizations. Well, we think that it is a competitive advantage right now, especially during volatile times, and it's a journey about, with an endpoint that's always moving. As we know, that technology is always evolving. There are new trends and new ways to remain, to have a competitive advantage. We see digital transformation in several lenses. As you guys know, we do represent three well-known brands here. One being HubSpot from the sales, marketing, and services side of digital transformation. Oracle NetSuite, which is a ERP system that what this webinar is mostly going to be about. And now Vidyard, which is a video marketing engine. And in Flawless and Bound, we have had the pleasure of working with over 120 organizations over the last 6 years that we have been their partner for digital transformation in a lot of different facets. Today's focus is going to be mostly on ERP, and I'm going to introduce your presenters to you right now. So first and foremost, everyone knows him, but I'm going to introduce him anyways. So with me here today is Saher, who still works for us, believe it or not, our Chief Revenue Officer. Saher, you want to say hi to everyone?
Hi, everybody. I'm really glad I still have a job here. I'm really glad.
And on to the next presenter. He's already talking to you right now and becoming a bit of a regular on here, but my name is Max. For those of you who don't know me, I'm an inbound growth consultant here working out of Edmonton, Alberta, looking after both Alberta, Ontario, and the United States for Flawless Inbound. And we actually have a new face with us today, someone you guys haven't met before. And with us here is Mohamed. And to give you a little bit of introduction before I pass it over to him, Mohamed has an extensive range of experience with Oracle NetSuite. He's worked both as a systems integrator and an independent consultant representing the brand. He also has an impressive resume, including climbing Mount Everest, running an ultra marathon every other day. He arm wrestled The Rock once, and I can't quite read your handwriting, Mohamed, but it says you're inventing a cure for the coronavirus. Is that right?
Yeah, that is all we've done.
Why don't you say hi to everyone, Mohamed, before I don't want to give away all your accolades. Why don't you say some of them yourself?
Hi, everyone, and thanks so much for joining us today. It's going to be an exciting journey and hopefully an exciting future relationship with all of you.
Awesome. So to the next slide here. So really quickly before we get into the meat and potatoes here, as we said, we've had the privilege of working with 120 plus B2B organizations in all different industries in different sizes too. We, as you can see here, we are extremely proud of who we get to work with. We love maintaining the relationships with these organizations and telling their story. So if these are some organizations that you recognize, you want to hear more about, hey, how did Flawless and Bound help them out? Please reach out to us at the end of the presentation. We're more than happy to say to showcase our work and talk about the journeys that we've gone on with these organizations. So before I pass it over to Saher, just want to walk you guys through the agenda of what you can expect from today's webinar or workshop, pardon me. So why digital transformation and why now is going to be our starting point. How to properly budget for an ERP project in 2020 and 2021. 6 key business processes to consider in your ERP project. The top challenges executive face during digital transformation. our 100-day NetSuite ERP implementation blueprint. And finally, at the end, like always, we're going to leave it open for the floor open for questions. Please note, though, I will be monitoring the Q&A during this workshop. So if you do have questions that come out while one of our presenters is talking, please feel free to put in the Q&A. We'll try and answer it on the fly if there's time. If not, we do promise we'll get it to the end. If you do have to, for some reason jump off the webinar, we will make sure to follow up with you with the answer that you're looking for if we do have it. So without further ado, Saher, can I pass it over to you? Oh wait, no, one more thing. Oh my gosh, almost forgot here, guys. We are less than a month before a pretty big holiday that a lot of people celebrate, and it's gonna look a little bit different for a lot of people this year. We're wondering, what do you get your loved one for this holiday season? Well, our Chief Revenue Officer, Saher, says, how about a state-of-the-art cloud-based ERP? It's the one thing everyone wants to unwrap on Christmas morning, or maybe if you're celebrating one of the other festive holidays. So let's just say the one that your family member wants is the $50,000 version of the module. So if you really want to tell them that you love them, that's what you get them. So our qualified professional advice that we are sharing with you.
Beautiful.
Saher, you got it from here?
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So thank you, everybody. And let's dig into details. Now, when we speak about what is digital transformation, I am, first of all, so glad and humbled that there's a lot of information technology company dialing in today, because they will agree with me that to start with digital transformation, first, hopefully, you already have moved some of your team members working remotely. You secured your connections with them. You applied video into your communication and collaboration with your team members. We understand that sometimes when you are in manufacturing, wholesale distribution, still maybe 20-25% of your workforce still need to be somehow stagnant to work in the office, but also work from home. So all IT companies who are dialing in today will agree with me that that's kind of the basic foundation of digital transformation. And they do an amazing job here, and we're so proud of them. They are our clients. We're helping them in other things in marketing and sales. But that's kind of the basic foundation of this transformation. Having said that, sometimes when we ask clients, what is digital transformation means to you, it can mean a lot of things. It then can mean, I need to optimize my CRM, customer relationship management. I need to build an analytics tool that connect all my divisions together. I need an enterprise resource planning platform that will connect my inventory management to my supply chain, to my sales, to my marketing, to my accounting system, and so on. Some of us even can say, hey, I need an HCM, a human capital management platform that can help me in hiring, performance review, vacation, payroll. Maybe I need a marketing automation system. Or maybe if you're in the industrial, you can say, hey, Sarah, you know what? Now is the time for us to bring optimization and enhance efficiency. So maybe I need to start baby steps in applying Industrial 4.0, and hopefully there's an AI component or machine learning component into all of that. So let's all agree that, yeah, all what you guys said today, or what we're learning from our clients, it can be a form of definition of a digital transformation. Now, the real question is, why now? Why are we thinking about digital transformation now? We get it, volatile market, the unfortunate situation we're all living in. But the main thing for any leader in their organization is making sure that while we are in this uncharted territories and nobody have ever faced this before, you need as a leader to think about consolidation and efficiency, at least to prepare for 2021 and beyond. As a business leader myself, learning from my team and learning from our clients, 120 clients in US and Canada over the last 6 years, we learned that we all can hope that things can go back to 2019, but we don't think that this will be the case. So then when we think about growing our companies and nurturing our teams and making them be more efficient to add value to our clients, there are 3 divisions at least that you need to think of in digital transformation: your marketing team, your sales team, and hopefully your customer services team. And you try your best to make sure that you are breaking the silos between those divisions, understanding that you don't have a duct tape of technology platforms that doesn't speak together. and there still need to be a manual intervention. And as a leader, you try your best to remove friction between those divisions. And if I can, I want to share with you the 5 steps to properly think about digital transformation and hopefully help you in recovery or even in growth and expansion when it comes to 2021. And it's very simple. Without reading details, first you need to establish the system, the financial system, to be connected to your CRM system, so that then you can have a financial dashboard that's connected everywhere. Maybe you need to elevate the operation by having maybe a people management component or an asset component. Maybe now you are in the phase of planning and budgeting. So are you doing the budget plan on Excel sheets and maybe combining them together? Do you have different versions of Excel sheets, or do you have an online system that helps you in budget and planning and ensuring things? Maybe you're looking for a project management tool and a billing system and a reporting system and an inventory system. So as you can see, each and every time you're expanding your pillars or 5 steps of digital transformation, there is more software component required, there is more development required, and there is more training required. So to summarize all of that and get into now to more details in what we're going to share with you guys is, when we are speaking about digital transformation, at the end of the day, as a business leader, it needs to be doing 2 things and 2 things only. Number 1, increase something. Number 2, hopefully reduce something. So hopefully, what we want to increase is business insight. You want to have a single dashboard that you can see all your division, how they're functioning. Hopefully, enhance your order processing tool. Maybe your invoice management tool need to be enhanced as well. But at the same time, you want to reduce time and resources when you're running a report. Maybe the time to close your books. And just for some of us who doesn't know what closing the books means, meaning your month ends book close, your quarter end book close, your year end book close. How much is that costing you right now? Can you streamline it or not? We have worked with clients where they close their books maybe 18 times a year. If you think about it, 12 months, quarterly, 6 months, and 1 final year-end close. And especially if you are supported by a VC firm, a venture capital firm, and they're looking at their investment to make sure that things are done properly. Maybe at some point in time, you want to streamline your IT costs as well. So just to start with, maybe these are the basic models of why I'm even speaking about digital transformation right now in this current economy. Okay. So now, after discussing those 5 key pillars, how can we think about digital transformation? The simple answer is, let's try our best to automate in the core of operation. So if we think about the basic 7 functional divisions in your organization, it can be something like your sales and ordering management solution, your billing and invoicing, financial management and global reporting, maybe your procurement and expense management, human resources, budget and forecasting. Your mission as a leader during your Q4 or during budgeting and planning for next year is to think about which of those functional divisions you want to bring more efficiency to. And just to give you a scenario, think about the basic one, sales and order management. Maybe right now you have an okay CRM, but it's not as advanced, meaning you don't have a full 360 view reporting to an automation so that your CRM is connected with your billing and accounting system, which is connected to your inventory management system. And there is still some manual process in the middle. That's one sample of a division where you're maybe in a foundation layer of this division, but you want to move it to a maturity layer, which we call it a transformation layer of this division. And so on. I'll give you another scenario. Maybe budgeting and forecasting. Maybe right now, you only budget in your Q4, and maybe your budgeting right now is manual, it's spreadsheet, and it's time consuming for you, your leadership team, and your key stakeholders. How about if we move to a transformation way of budgeting, which is a customized data entry sheets rolling a 12 months forecast with a single version of truth to all your leadership team. So those are samples. Of course, I'll not go into more details. We actually have another 1 hour was recorded where we spoke about each and every functional division, how to move them from a foundation function to a true digital transformation function windows. But the key point that I want to leave with you in this slide, that when we speak about digital transformation, It's all about automation in the core of operation. How can you start? Pick one of the 7 divisions and start evaluating those divisions and see how can you enhance and optimize the performance with those. Great. So I'm going to share with you right now, after working with 120 B2B organizations in Canada and the US, things that we learned, mistakes that we have seen and observed and enhanced our process in implementation, so that hopefully everybody today, the audience, can actually take notes and be careful if they're planning on implementing a digital transformation, let's say in the next 3 to 6 months. Okay, the first one is the implementation time. When we speak about a very basic ERP solution, like maybe a NetSuite platform, if it's a small ERP project and it's maybe connecting with 3 or 4 divisions, usually it takes around 100 days to just kind of launch pad this ERP and have your team members kind of logged into the ERP and start working. It can expand from 100 days to 6 months, and that's kind of very basic implementation of a full ERP project end-to-end. So that's the first thing. And please make sure while I'm presenting, feel free to start asking us questions, because I know Max and Mohamed will be looking at the Q&A while we're saying this. The second thing is, while even we're speaking about maybe the time of implementation here, maybe I can ask you guys a question, pull questions. I'm not sure if you guys can see my pull questions here or not. So I'll ask you first, maybe, how many of you are in budget planning right now for digital transformation or implementing an ERP? And I'll give you a couple of minutes. You should see a pull question here coming out, where just, if you can just click on, is it November, December? Is your Q4 maybe is not matched with the normal calendar year? Maybe you already just finished your budget planning, or maybe you don't yet have the rhythm of budget planning for the organization. And Max and Mohamed, I just want to make sure, can you guys see the poll as well? Just want to make sure.
Yeah, we can see it.
Perfect. Okay. And hopefully all the audience can see that too.
Do you want me to answer when Follows and Bound is going to be budgeted?
Sure. Sure. Okay. So hopefully everybody answered. So I'll just stop that. And okay. Somehow I didn't get I'll share results here. I don't think I was able to get all the results. So maybe something in the system, in Zoom, but I'm not sure. Okay, well, let's go to the next one. So this is the time, but feel free to shout out on your Q&A if you're already in budget planning, or if you're just, it's coming soon, things like that. Now, the second thing, which is more important than the time, is the implementation investment for an ERP solution. And this is very important. How much can you budget, not only from a dollar value, but also from a time investment? There is actually 5 key basic line items that you need to budget for, 5. And then there's advanced thing, the other thing that we'll speak about till the end of our session today. So the first one, which is the most obvious one, is budgeting for the software. This kind of enterprise resource planning software. Maybe you're already now on QuickBooks Online, or on Sage system, or maybe you are on a legacy system like JD Edwards, or maybe on a legacy CRM, and you want to move everything into a connected platform. So the first thing you would look at is software. How much does this software cost me? Is it per seat? Is it per back-end function? Is it per traffic and utilization to the system? So you need to be very careful if you're evaluating those software. And by the way, Flawless and Bound, we can absolutely help you in the evaluation process of the software. That's the first line item if you're budgeting for an ERP solution. The second one is the partner that hopefully will be part of your journey while you're implementing this ERP. I know even Mohamed can attest to that. Sometimes maybe the customer can take the software and try to implement it themselves, and maybe sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So a partner is as critical to the journey as, even more important than the software vendor themselves. So that's another investment that you just need to account for when a partner is plugged in to implement the ERP solution for you. Sadly, what we have noticed with a lot of clients, that in their budget planning, those are only the two things that they have. There's another three things that we find missing when you're investing in an ERP solution, or at least budgeting for an ERP solution. The third one is data migration and data hygiene. This is one of the critical components that we find before customers are not planning for, they're not planning properly, and it can make or break your ERP implementation. So give you a scenario about data migration. If you're migrating from 4 or 5 different systems, there need to be a solution architect, and that's why Mohamed now is part of the Flawless Inbound team, dying to us from the Toronto area as part of Flawless Inbound. He actually can look into what are legacy systems that we are pulling your data from. Maybe you have 2 or 3. So that's one thing. And then what kind of format are those data coming from? And then we actually work on a layer in the middle to connect those data together. Because then we will find that maybe there's data cleansing opportunity or data hygiene opportunity that is required before we import it to our new ERP solution. So I'll give you a scenario. God bless the sales team. They're doing the right thing. They're actually creating new deals. They want to help you open market and grow your business, but maybe your sales rep is putting a new deal, company ABC, in one opportunity, but then he might, in the next opportunity, he might write company ABC Inc. And then in his third opportunity, he might write company ABC Inc. Dallas, Texas. So an old ERP system or old CRM system, those are 4 different entries or 3 different entries to the same company name. So how can you consolidate and figure out discrepancy in data and make sure they're merged properly together and then import it to the new ERP system? This is so critical to the implementation. Actually critical to the point that we always advise our clients to dedicate a business analyst from within their business at least 1 hour a day or a day each few weeks to make sure that they can review this data migration and data hygiene on timely basis. It's exactly like you're buying a fancy new car. That's the software system, right? Now, for this car to hit the road and go into the right direction, think about it. This is the data. So if you don't have the data, you just bought the car, you don't know how to drive, you don't know where you're going. So data is as critical as the partner and as the software system. Great. So what's happened after this? Remember, one of the promises of digital transformation is breaking the silos between systems, between legacy systems. So if just you have your new ERP with data and it just speaking to itself, it's not speaking with any other functional elements, then congratulations, you had 4 or 3 siloed software. Now you created one gigantic siloed software that doesn't speak to anything. So the 4th thing that you need to plan for is system integration and customization. So I'll give you an example here. Maybe you have a CRM solution or a marketing automation solution like HubSpot that have all the advanced function of marketing automation, lead gen, lead scoring, reporting on the marketing side. HubSpot now, we need to integrate it properly to your, let's say, NetSuite Oracle platform. Maybe you decided because of the new economy, there is no networking events anymore. There is no trade shows. You're going to build a commerce platform online, an e-commerce platform. So now maybe you decided to go with Shopify, Magento, BigCommerce, or other Amazon Web Services e-commerce platform. Your ERP solution need to connect with that e-commerce platform. Also, it need to connect with your marketing automation platform, which is HubSpot. But at the same time, your ERP solution need to connect with your barcode scanner if you're maybe scanning a product item to ensure that it came, you received it, and it ensure that it's shipped to the right client at the right time that you promised. And maybe you want your ERP solution to connect with the electronic data exchange system, especially for connecting with different banking platforms. We have clients in the US or clients in Canada. So maybe you have RBC, TD, ATB, and so on. So you need your ERP solution to connect and consolidate and combine all your banking accounts to ensure that when you close on monthly basis, it's done properly. So again, system integration and customization is so critical. when you're budgeting properly for an ERP solution. Then the final thing is ongoing support and maintenance. Each now and then, you might, maybe let's say we did an implementation, in 6 months or a year, now we have a new business requirement or a new division. Or maybe this is your time to do M&A, mergers and acquisitions. So now you're acquiring a new company completely in Europe or in the US or somewhere else in Canada, and you want to take their legacy system, plug it to now the new centralized ERP solution. We can help by coming back and connecting those dots together, or maintenance and training for users. So in summary, when you are planning of investing in digital transformation, which will include an ERP system, please, please, please make sure that you're budgeting for 5 line items. Now, does all of that needs to come day one? No, there is actually ways of stagnant implementation, or we define this as a phased approach of implementation. Great. So this is kind of the first thing we want to discuss. How can we time it properly? How can we budget for it? The next thing we want to share with you today is, what do organizations really miss when planning a digital transformation? And what we have seen is you need to be very careful with operational disruption. And you need to think about it and take your time to evaluate how operational disruption will affect my business. We have seen before that 51 to 54% of companies experience operation disruption if things are not done properly. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you the flawless and bound way of minimizing operation disruption when you are embarking on an ERP project. And I think to be able to do that correctly, I think this is the time to speak to you guys about business process. And the 6 fundamental business processes that we have seen are so critical that before even we engage in, we just need to work with you on defining those 6 business processes. And I think I have now Mohamed that actually can speak into that from a very high level perspective. So Mohamed, can you take us through the 6 fundamental business process that any organization need to at least think of or whiteboard before even they embark on programming the software or even doing their data, data hygiene and data migration problem?
Sure. Thanks so much, Saher. So on a high level, what we've seen from our experience with different businesses is that the first step is to make sure that your item management process is well defined, and what this would include as to what type of items you carry, right? So for example, in the IT world, you might carry, if you're selling physical products, it might be serialized products, right? In the food industry, it might be lot numbered inventory. So we need to define how your item master data looks like, and this will be the basis and the foundation of all of the other processes that build up on it. The next step after the item management would be your lead to quote process. So what we would need to define is how the whole process works from when you get the first phone call, or when you'll see your sales reps reach out to the clients and qualifies a lead for a specific sale, and up until the point that sale turns into a quotation, and that quotation eventually turns into a sales order, which would bring us to the next process, which is the sales, which is the sales order, or the order to cash process. In NetSuite, it is known as the O2C process, which would essentially be the process from when your internal team actually enters the order into the system, and it reserves the inventory for that client up until the point where the order is fulfilled and the customer is invoiced and you as a company receive payment from the client. Likewise, if you needed to do things in reverse, the next process would cover that, which would be the return to credit process. So if a customer were to bring their product back, how you and your internal team would deal with that return from the moment you actually receive the product back up until the point where you issue the customer refund. So whether it's a customer credit or whether you're issuing them a check or so forth, right? The other side of this of the business would be your procurement side of it. So the first side was dealing with the clients, and the second side of it would be dealing with your vendors, right? So this is all of the products that you carry and how you would bring them in to your warehouse or into your business to have them readily available to your customers. So again, this would start all the way from when your internal team creates that purchase order up until the item is received and you receive the vendor bill and eventually pay the vendor bill. And likewise, on the flip side, the next process would be the whole return to debit process, which is if at any point you needed to return a product back to a vendor. For example, a vendor sends you a product that you realize it is expired or is a defective product. You would need to define what kind of process you have in line in order to process that from when the product comes in up until the point that vendor issues you a credit or a check or a credit memo or so forth. So these are the very high level business processes that we have seen with the different clients that we have dealt with. Your business processes could be lined up almost like around the same processes, or they could be slightly different. But the beauty of the NetSuite platform is that it's very customizable depending on your business needs. I'll pass it back over to Saher to take it from there.
Thank you so much, Mohamed. This was very enlightening, and just kind of ask a couple of questions, right? So when I'm seeing now you're presenting those 6 business process, and I can see there is arrows in and out, and so we can automate those processes. Is that correct? Like we can without scripts. Okay.
Absolutely. So the beauty of NetSuite is that it can actually take a lot of the manual processing work that your team is currently doing now and automate that into workflows. And those workflows, you can even decide as to if like for instance here, in this slide here where we have a vendor return, and if it's a yes, then we manage the vendor refunds, and if it's a no, we apply the vendor credits. That is something that can be programmed, and that workflow can be defined within NetSuite to take that processing time away from your team.
Beautiful. And my second question, Mohamed, is I noticed you speak about the lead to quote. Like I know some of our clients today dialing online, they might be thinking about an e-commerce solution front end. Can this process here be connected to their website, to an e-commerce platform, and would the e-commerce platform connect immediately with a new order so that then I can know, do I have an inventory? Can I promise the client the right shipment date? All those kind of things. Is that possible with a model like that?
Absolutely, Saher. So the integration where you would connect to another service through an API, it would actually be if you can switch over to the next process, Saher, the order to cash process. So that is where we would create the sales order. So creating the sales order, it could be done manually by your team, or it could come from a third party, whether it's Amazon, Shopify, or any or your company's website. and you can the customer can see real-time inventory data and pricing and so forth, and then it will automatically feed into NetSuite without having to do any manual processes.
Beautiful. Mohamed, final question to you, and I'm sure there'll be more questions coming in. So I noticed in the slides here, we have a definition of roles.
Yep.
What does this role represent, either in the NetSuite system or on the client operation side?
For sure. So in the NetSuite system, the definition of roles is it's mostly for security and clarity of business processes. So for instance, if you have your sales team and you created a sales role, then that teammate would have specific business functions that they would be responsible for, and therefore they would only have access to those areas, right? Whereas, for example, your CFO would have higher access to view the financials for the whole company, right? Your warehouse team, they would have only access to your item fulfillment and your shipping process. So in order to simplify it and in order to have more security and more control over your system, you can generate those roles. And NetSuite, it does come with a preset of defined roles. However, you can generate almost an unlimited number of roles and with different security requirements for each person within your team.
So I can customize my login completely depending on my role, and I can only see the functions that I want to see. So then hopefully then what I'm hearing from you, Mohamed, I can bring more efficiency to my operation team. So if I have a QA manager, he will only see things that is focused on QA and line of production. If I have an inventory manager, he only see that. Then hopefully the leadership team can see organization, global KPI to understand where they are from revenue, where they are from net profit, where they are from EBITDA. Maybe they have KPIs on quarterly basis. My understanding, Mohamed, that we can create KPIs on quarterly basis reported to the CEO differently than the division manager. Is that a correct assumption?
Absolutely, Saher. So everything that you just mentioned, it was head on. And just to build on the reporting capabilities of NetSuite, NetSuite is such a powerful BI engine and analytics engine. And as you mentioned, you could report on a daily basis, actually. As a matter of fact, you can report on an hourly basis, up to a yearly, right? And all of these, they could either be static, so you can go in and look at a snapshot of what happened last month or so forth, or they can also be dynamic, whereas you can log in and say, as of right now, what are my sales numbers, right? Month to date or so forth. So and it's very customizable in so many different ways for each person within your team. Thanks for bringing this here, Saher. So this snapshot there, it gives, so this would be, for example, a typical dashboard that can show you the different areas within your business, and this dashboard within itself is customizable for each person who is logging in. They can customize it whichever way they would like to whatever information is relevant for their role.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Mohamed. And again, I'm sorry I don't mean to go back with the slides, but just for me to understand and for the audience to understand.
My pleasure.
So great. So far we spoke about the 6 process. Thank you so much, Mohamed. That was very valuable. So this is what we covered so far. Why digital transformation? Why now? How to budget and plan properly, hopefully, for an ERP project. The 6 key business process, Mohamed, thank you so much for kind of, entertaining us with kind of the 6 basic process. Of course, we can do a lot more, but at least the 6 basic process that you should think of. Now, let me continue here by saying the top challenges that executives have faced during a digital transformation, what they are, and hopefully how we can help you in. And what would an implementation of an ERP look to us from a flawless inbound perspective in Q&A? Hey, Max, just a quick question. How are you doing so far with time? I know we're going to cover Q&A at the end, but how are we doing so far? Are we good?
We're still on track. So far, so good.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, and
Perfect.
please remember, everyone, if you have any questions, Mohamed and I will be monitoring the Q&A. So if you do need to ask one and maybe head off, we can answer it on the fly. Or like I said, at the very end, we're going to allow people to go off mute actually and ask their questions live with their voices, I guess. So Saher, back to you.
Awesome. Thank you. So I want to share with you guys now the top challenges that we have seen, especially when you're embarking on a digital transformation. And I'm speaking more about the executive team and the project management team. So there are 5 things that we have noticed before. And you would see while I'm presenting them, we kind of maybe were advising to address them differently to ensure success. So number 1, please remember, whatever digital transformation and why you are embarking on a digital transformation, it's not just about the software and the data migration, the partner and the business function. There is people component in this digital transformation. And it's very critical that you budget for training, end user training, and proper migration and things around that. Because we have seen before, implementation technically on paper was done right. The data migration was done right. The integration was done right. But the communication with the division leaders was broken. So they were not expecting that they will get a new system, and it completely disrupted their operation. So that's the first thing. Think about who will be the division managers that will be exposed to this change. Are they ready for this change? When should we do that change? Especially if you have high season or cyclic business. Second, please remember, transformation misalignment with strategic objective is a killer. What do I mean by that? We're not just doing digital transformation just because we want to be a cool organization. I totally agree. I love that we want to be a cool organization. But why, from the beginning, did we decide to go through this journey? What is the core business problem we're trying to fix? And is this core business problem aligned by the CEO, the executive team, and the board of directors before even we go there? Maybe you have your 5 years plan to expand beyond Canada and the US into Europe. So you know now that you have multi-subsidies and you need a system that can speak to different financial systems and different financial and accounting practice and compliance. Okay, now that's a strategic business objective. Maybe a basic QuickBooks cannot do that for you. So those are things you need to think of. Maybe you decided that because there's no trade shows or networking events, your only way to build new relations with your supply chain and with your distributors is through a B2B e-commerce platform. But then maybe you need a video engine or marketing automation tool. That is a strategic objective. Maybe you decide that your NPS score, your net promoter score for your existing book of business is going down and you need to quickly figure out a customer advocacy program to fix this initiative. So that is a strategic initiative. So then now when you are embarking on a digital transformation solution to fix that strategic initiative, this is now where everything should get aligned. Number 3. Now, and this is very important too, the difficulty of managing or addressing deficiency with system integrators. So we've seen before, clients get excited about an ERP solution, he gets the system integrator in, and then they start implementing all the solution. But then maybe there was a misalignment, miscommunication. My advice to everybody on the call today is please ensure, either if you're hiring Flawless and Bound or other partners to implement your ERP, you need to allocate someone from within the organization that needs to work as an internal project manager with the partner who's going to do the implementation. Let me give you a live scenario. Remember we spoke before about data migration and data cleansing? I would argue that this needs to be a collaborative solution or a collaborative process between your business analyst who's in-house, who's working with the partner who will come and implement the solution for you. If you don't have this in-house, then we have a problem. Then Houston, we have a problem. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, and this person can be, by the way, someone from your leadership team that will take this project on them, and that will be their quarterly rock that they have to work with while they're doing their daily job. So this means to you now as a leadership team is that, let's say they're working 40 hours a week, you need to carve out at least 5 hours or 4 hours or maybe half a day each week so that they will be accountable with the implementation partner to ensure a successful implementation of their ERP solution. Number 4, clarity in the business process. I think we killed it, right? I think Mohamed explained to us why business process definition is critical. And it's not that our clients didn't have business process before we work with them. Of course, they had a business process, but we need to make sure that us and the client are on the same page of how does the thing flow through. When you're doing, order to cash, procure to pay, item management, we need to be on the same process with them, because this also can be an opportunity to enhance and optimize and change your business process, or it can be an opportunity to completely change your business model of operation, especially during this volatile time that we are all passing through globally. The 5th one is data migration. I know I highlighted this before in our budgeting. Say, guys, be careful. There is something called data migration. There's something called data cleansing. So again, this is so critical. Please make sure that you understand data migration and data cleansing is as critical as finding the right ERP software that will have all the bells and whistles and reporting that maybe you will be looking for. So those are the 5 things that I just want to make sure that we all captured clearly in our webinar today. If you feel that any of those 5 things you're not comfortable with, please feel free to connect with any one of us, because we can help you at least to whiteboard and think about it differently. Okay, so what do we cover so far? We spoke about a lot of things today, but the main things is digital transformation is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And I think hopefully that was clear. The second thing is your partner in this journey is as important, maybe sometimes more important than the platform of your choice. When you're choosing your partner in this journey, please make sure that there is culture match, that they're accountable as you are accountable for the success. And also make sure, which is the 3rd point here, that collaboration and change management is so important with internal stakeholders and also with the partner. So it's not just about how much will it cost, it's about who from my organization will be allocated to this project for the next 6 months, maybe 100 days, 6 months, or 9 months, to ensure a successful implementation. And internally, how much would that cost me? Because now I have maybe an SME, a subject matter expert, who's now doing something, but I need to allocate a half a day a week or a day each 2 weeks to make sure that he's working with the partner who's coming in to implement the solution for me. Max, back to you.
All right. So we just want to end off here with, how can Flawless Inbound help you? And the quick answer is we can, and this is how. On to the next slide. So why is there a picture of a race car here? Well, predominantly because I like to speak through metaphors here, and honestly, I think this is a powerful one for the range of businesses and business leaders that we have on this webinar right now. So we like to say, maybe you run an organization, you run a department, and you are very much the race car driver here, right? And surrounding you is to cross that finish line and to finish the race. It's more than just about the driver, right? If you're running a department, you have a P&L, you have employees that are accountable to you, all of that need to work holistically, right? And it's more just that too. You have a car, right? Which is very much your platform, right? Making sure you get across the finish line. You have the team, right? In our case, we like to say Flawless Inbound works collaboratively with your team in mind, right? And you have the playbook too. You have a go-to-market strategy, or perhaps you have a goal in mind, right? Of where you want to go. That's your playbook, right? And we look at that, and that is our approach to client engagement, right? Making sure that we are accountable for all 3 of those things, and that they're working as one, as a flywheel, all holistically together. So that's the purpose of this slide. Moving forward, regarding the team, right? The people part of the people process playbook. With NetSuite specifically, we outfit the team with a wide range of expertise to ensure we're covering everything. As you know, we represent a number of brands, but specifically because we were talking about ERPs, this is the team that we want to show you, whether it's an account manager who's going to be your single source of contact, or your main source of contact, I should say, a NetSuite solution architect who's on our call right now, Mohamed. A technology team, right? One that understands the platform and can program the automation and those distinct business processes that we were talking about, whether that is a module that fits your organization perfectly or getting very customized. That's what the technology team does. A graphic design developer, if you need something customer facing, right, front facing with your platform, right, whether that's instead of the internal processes, it's the external, what they see. A client director, and also a growth strategist, right, making sure that we are accountable and that your definition of success is the same definition of success that Flawless Inbound shares. Stephen, I just want to address your comment there. You're a very good race car driver. That's great to hear, and happy that the metaphor resonated with you on the previous slide. On to the next one, Saher. Actually, I'm going to pass it over to Mohamed on this one before I take it from here about, hey, what does it look like when we get started on a NetSuite project?
Thanks, Max. So our goal within Flawless Inbound is to get you up and going, at least your basic ERP system, within the first 100 days of joining you on this journey. So typically, what we would do is that we would. The first 3 weeks, it would be an engagement, right? So that is when we come in and really try to learn your business, try to learn your business processes, your teammates, and that is when we would discuss all of the different strategies that we would take throughout the implementation process. So whether that be your data migration, the training strategies, the user adoption, the handoff, and so forth. So that is where we start to set the foundation of the implementation project. The second step, which would be like approximately week 4 to 8 there, that is where I would actually start getting our hands into the system, starting to translate all of the business processes and everything that we discussed in the first phase, and start to put it into the system, right? So all of your specific business processes, your workflows, start configuring the system, right? If we needed to do any special scripting or development within the system, we also do that in-house, and during that time, that is where we get all of that set up, right? Obviously, along the way, we would be testing any changes, any configurations, and workflows that we are making. We would be doing the testing ourselves, as well as with you and your team, which is what we would consider the acceptance testing, and this would flow through to our next phase, which is the enablement, right? So during week 1 to 8, throughout the whole process, we would also start the data cleansing, the data migration, right? Saher, he touched up on this a lot earlier. One of the most important things, and one of the terms that maybe you hear a lot, is garbage in, garbage out, right? So we want to make sure that the data going into your system the moment you go live is clean data, and that is where we would bring in, would finalize the data migration, and we would work with you on testing the system to make sure that we covered everything that we had discussed before, and at the same time start training all of your users on the system, and at the different levels, right? So whether it's your warehouse team or your leadership team or so forth. The last step, it would be the actual go live, right? So that is when we turn on the switch. We would move you on from your legacy system or just turn on this new system, and then we would support you throughout the transition process, right? So whether things change now with COVID and we can be there in person, or whether remotely, regardless, you will not be alone. We would be there with you, and we would also create a transition plan that we would do a knowledge transfer, and hand off everything over to you. So, and obviously, as Saher mentioned earlier, there would also be the discussion regarding the ongoing support and maintenance. So yeah, so Max, if I'll hand it back over to you from here.
Sure thing. So just at the very end, 3 of us are active on LinkedIn. And furthermore, we encourage anyone on the call right now, if you're not following Flawless Inbound on LinkedIn, this is our best social platform for keeping up with us, whether that's if you want to attend more workshops like this one, or read some of the blogs. The blog is kind of a shared effort amongst the team where we have actually people of different expertise contributing to the Flawless Inbound blog and writing about whether that's ERP and Oracle NetSuite, whether that's HubSpot, whether that's sales and marketing best practices. Those are the sorts of things. And we like to get fun on there too, posting the occasional video, whether that's a pumpkin carving contest. Sometimes we do a holiday video. It's going to be very challenging this year to do one, but we promise it's not boring and it's constantly active. So look out for us there. If you're not following us on LinkedIn, please give us a follow. And on to the next one. Just finishing it off here. From a solutions perspective, what do we do? Obviously, we represent both Oracle and NetSuite, but for Oracle NetSuite, we are one of the only Canadian partners for them. We have in our team expertise in 2 levels of project, whether that's net new ERPs for a wide range of industries, including wholesale distribution, manufacturing, retail, and hospitality, or we actually have worked on ERP rescue projects. What is that? That is when a ERP project has been unsuccessfully implemented for a variety of reasons, and an organization needs a partner to come in and define those business processes more clearly and set up the automation, and customization. I had like a Freudian slip there saying 2 words in one, automation. Well, okay. And that's kind of work that we do. And lastly, we are part of a number of organizations that we're very proud of, whether that's Vistage, a CEO manufacturing community group that Saher attends, a BC Tech, Mars Discovery, a few others as well. Tech Canada is another one that we're a part of. So a lot of different ways that you can interact with Flawless Inbound. And on the right-hand side too, we also have a book that we published about new trends in marketing. If you do want a copy of that, please get in touch with one of us, and we'll be happily show you where you can get that, whether that's hard copy or digital. So that's the very end. We're gonna open the floor up for questions here. 3 of us are gonna remain on the call, and if you'd like to go off mute, just send us a message in the chat and we will do that and let you ask a question.
That's perfect. And I think Max, you're monitoring the Q&A as well, just in case if we didn't answer any.
I'm monitoring
some coming, and I think me and Mohamed were trying to as best to kind of speak to it while we're presenting. So
Shruti, thanks for joining us, and get to bed because it is like 1:50 out in India.
That's awesome. And I know there might be maybe some questions around, so how can we budget? How can we plan? We're more than happy. If you guys will have more questions, we definitely can follow up into, if you're in a budgeting phase or a planning phase, we can definitely help with that as well. Even if you want to speak more with Mohamed or myself around building the business process, even before you pick a software solution, we definitely can do that. Even if you are in like going out shopping for an ERP platform, we can also kind of help you with that, because there is lots out there, and they're all great products as well. Yes, we carry some brands, but we definitely can help in evaluation and kind of understanding what's the right one for your business and for your strategic objective. Max, I think if there's no questions right now, I think we can close it here, and definitely would send the recording to everybody who registered and attended as well.
Thanks for joining us, everyone, and to anyone from the United States on the call right now. Have a happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
You then.
All right.